All right, so let's talk about Unreal Sync. This panel has the same map name for exporting the levels. Same thing inside of USync main. These things are in parallel. So if I do new name, you'll see the one down here updates as well. So you can do that. And then I'm going to put more options in here. Currently right now you have something called export materials. It's set to not export it just because it doesn't work right now. It's just there for the future, but later on you'll be able to reassign materials inside of Blender and have that sync over in Unreal as well. Currently right now, the material you set in Unreal is the material it's going to use. And then the export here, then they add asset name for export. That's important for custom objects that aren't inside of the library, like all of these objects. Like these will all sync correctly, but for new meshes that you create, you will need to set up them properly to work inside of Unreal. But we'll get to that later. Then you can edit asset names. So you can select a bunch of these, name it something, and it will just count up. So I can call it box, and it'll do box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, you have extra buttons to quickly assign prefixes like static mesh and blueprint. And then there's a lot of little utility things here. I won't go over in the video, but you can read the documentation. The documentation is all the way down in USync project installer, and you can hit it right here and you can read all about it. So if we go back to Unreal Sync, let's go down here. You have the export true false. That's for all the objects, whether you want them to get sent to make a level or not. Then you also have solid and wire. You can change the viewing mode. And then another super cool thing that I added was material scene override. Now what this override does is if I select, I'm going to select this material that's here because this is a nice grid material. It's inside of the library that I also added. If I scale, you'll see that all the cubes are triplanar. So that means that everything will be in 1 meter by 1 meter. So that's super cool. But like, let's say you're working on a big level and you haven't assigned materials and it's kind of a pain in the butt to go sit down and add all the materials. I've added an override. So you can select what you want, hit enable. Now everything has that material. And then when you're done, you can turn it off and it preserves all the materials. So you don't break anything while you're working. If you need something cleaner that isn't like visually noisy, you can override the whole scene and then come back when you're ready. And that's it for the Unreal Sync. All right, thanks.